There's a few more advanced features in FrameMotion, which we'll explore by building a new component from scratch. Right now, when we get to review your order step, there is Place Order button, which sends our fictitious order for processing. To prevent users from tapping this button by accident, let's replace it with a custom component, where user has to slide their finger across to confirm the order. The end result is going to look like this. So let's start by creating a basic skeleton for the component. I'm going to add a new file called slide to confirm and create a basic React component inside. Let's import React from React, create and export slide to confirm function, and make sure it returns a div with slide to confirm class name. This component will take two props, a label with the text to display and onConfirm callback function. I'll define props type where label is a string and onConfirm is a simple function and add it to our props. Then inside of the component div, I'll add a span for our label and a div with a class toggle and the value of an ASCII character that resembles double right arrow. Before we start styling our slider, let's open the review component, import slide to confirm, and put it in place of the button. I'll also set label prop to slide to purchase and onConfirm prop to onComplete callback. Now we can save the changes and see our new component down at the bottom. It doesn't look anything like what we want, so let's open styles.scss file and add a few classes. I'm going to add slide to confirm class and paste some styles. Here we set the size and the margin of the element, text styles and the background color, use flex to center the label inside, and lastly we set position to relative because we'll want to use absolute positioning for the toggle element. Now inside I'm going to add a class for toggle and paste some styles as well. Here we set the size and position of the toggle, its styles, and use flex again to center the ASCII symbol inside. Now our component looks good, so we can start working on the logic. The logic is going to be quite similar to what we've already implemented for the model. So if we drag the handle till the end, it should fire onConfirm callback. Otherwise, it should bounce back into its starting position. And we could use the same trick with zero drag constraint and a large value for drag elastic that we use for the model, but that approach isn't ideal because it also allows elastic drag in the opposite direction. We can see the undesired side effects if we open the model and drag it up, which ideally wouldn't be possible. So instead, we'll create dragging behavior using animation hook that we've seen before, together with pan gestures. So let's import motion and use animation from FrameMotion and add motion prefix to the toggle div. Then I'll create a new controls variable, assign it to use animation hook, and set animate property on the toggle div to controls. Now that we can control toggle animations imperatively, we'll also need to connect two callbacks for pan gestures, onPan and onPanEnd. Pan gestures are similar to drag gestures, in that they have exactly the same arguments and they fire when we grab the element and try moving it around, except that with pan gestures, the element doesn't actually move. So let's create two empty functions called handlePan and handlePanEnd and connect them to the props. We'll need to get panInfo inside handlePan function. So I'm going to import panInfo type and add event argument of type any and info of type panInfo. Now we can store offset x value in a variable and use it inside control.set function to update the x offset of the toggle. To make sure that we can drag the toggle to the left, let's add an if condition and only update x value if it's greater than 0. This will work because when we pan the element to the left, offset x will be negative. Additionally, we want to make sure that we can drag the toggle outside of its parent's bounds. So I'll add a second condition that will cap the x value at 260. I got this number by subtracting toggle width together with its spacing on both sides from the total component width. It's a good practice to give names to constants whose meaning isn't immediately obvious, so I'll replace them with right offset constant that I'll define above. Next, I'm going to add arguments to handlePanEnd function by copying them over from handlePan. Inside the function, we want to check if we drag the toggle till the end. We can do that by comparing info offset x to right offset variable. If this condition is true, we'll call onConfirm callback. Otherwise, we'll animate toggle into its initial position by calling control start and setting X to 0. Now everything is in place, so we can save the changes and check how the component works. I'm going to grab and drag the toggle, and as you can see, it is moving, thanks to our onPen callback that is changing the X offset. When I let go of the component without dragging it till the end, it pops back into its initial position. And when I do drag it till the end and release, it fires onConfirm callback and we get to the next step.